I'd like to introduce Dr. Sue Weishar, who is the migration specialist with the Detention Social Research Institute here at Loyola. She will introduce our special guest.
Thank you. I am very pleased to introduce to you today Mr. Omar Hassan. Omar is originally from Somalia. He entered the United States in 1996 at the age of 15 and then applied for asylum in Austin, Texas, where he lived for the next 10 years. After fighting his asylum case for 13 years, he lost his final appeal in December 2009. Omar was picked up by ICE at his job in Phoenix, Arizona in October 2010, and then was detained in Florence, Arizona for 5 months. Omar spoke very little English when he came to the United States. He learned English and worked 2 jobs while he earned an associate's degree as a computer technician. He has worked for Dell and other large computer companies. In addition to being a talented computer technician, Omar speaks 5 languages, including French and Arabic. He is also very well traveled. He told me that this is his 8th visit to New Orleans. So, welcome back to New Orleans, Omar, and thank you again for agreeing to be with us today to discuss your experience in immigration detention.
Bear with me, I haven't get used to doing this, so, and thank you for being here. And I want to thank everybody who was responsible for me to be here today. It's been a long time since I've been in New Orleans, so, but I used to come here in good times a long time ago. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Omar, why don't we start out with, if you could please describe to us about the day that you were picked up by ICE. What happened that day?
That was October 1st, 2010. And I was working 2:00 afternoon. 2 ICE agents show up at work with my boss, and they told me, they need to talk to me. So I know I didn't do any crimes, so the only thing in my mind was my immigration. Although I have work permit and all the other stuff like a social and driver license, but it's still the immigration was still in my head. So they took me to their office downtown Phoenix, from work to downtown Phoenix, and they sent me in the interrogation room, and they told me, well, we have good news and bad news for you. And the good news is we cannot actually deport you, but we can try to. I'm like, I don't get it. What do you mean try to? So they said, from today, from right now, you ain't gonna go nowhere. So prepare yourself. You go in detention. And I'm like, okay, well, give me at least. I'm not even afraid of that. I'm like, please give me a couple days so I can take care of my stuff. So they told me, well, we take care of one for you already. And I'm like, what is that? Oh, we froze your account already. So that's the first thing you do already. So I have a brand new car I just bought and sit in the parking lot. What do you want me to do with it? And they go, well, that's not our business. But you ain't leaving this office today. So that was like 5 o'clock in the evening. So they put you in those cells. It's like, it's a cement. That's where you're gonna actually sleep into tonight. So it's getting cold at nighttime, and you have no idea what's gonna happen to you tomorrow, because nobody's telling you actually nothing. So the next morning comes in, I get my picture taken, get fingerprinted, and they're like, okay, we're going somewhere. Where? Someplace called Florence, Arizona. And I end up evening in Florence, Arizona. And so I get fingerprinted again, strip searched, took to the medical and got examined 10 times in 2 days. And they told me, well, after 24 hours, I was told, you're moving again. To where? They're like, this is going to be the same place, Florence, but different facility. Where I'm at right now, right there, that time was federal facility. That's Immigration Detention Center. That's the federal facility. But the next morning, they put me in a small van. It's like a small city, if you haven't been in Florence. There's nothing in there except a small gas station and a McDonald's. Everything else is actually jail, but it's a city, like a small city, but a jails. And they put me in the van, and the ride took, that's how big the place is, the ride took 15 minutes to get me to the other facility. So in the other facility, you get a strip search again, and give you a shower, then you change, then you go to medical. Not one day, the second day, the third day, but like almost a week, you will go into the medical. And the honorable judge was saying that those facilities, they provide medical and all this and all this. Well, there's a catch on that. I'm not sick, but every morning you are on a list of going to the medical. Well, the reason is going to the medical is not on my benefit, or I'm sick. It's benefit of those companies charging the federal government so they can get paid. It's not my benefit. I'm like, I'm not sick. They're like, no, you are on a list. It doesn't matter if you're sick or not. So, my first day over there was scary because I never been, let alone jail, police station in my life. And you scare, all you see in jails is the movies that I watch, and they don't look good. So, you don't know if somebody's going to jump you tomorrow, where you take a shower or where you sleep. If somebody's going to sexually actually, do something to you. You don't know. But I told myself from the beginning my first day over there, hey, this is going to pass. It's not going to be like this, the rest of my life. So that keeps me going, and I have to kill time. So you have a lot of time. So I read a lot of books for the first 5 days. Then one of the CEO came to me and he goes, oh, well, I was reading your file. And I told him, what were you doing with my file? And he goes, well, I was looking for somebody who speaks English, who can work on food area, because you don't have a criminal record. And I told him, fine, as long as it's going to keep me busy. And for some reason I told him, well, how much the job pays? So he told me, well, it's $1 a day. Like, fine, I just want to kill time. So I joined in, and actually I don't do cook food. All I do is just put them in the tray and hand to people. That's it. 3 times a day. So you get up like 4 o'clock in the morning and do the breakfast. So that was my normal days over there.
So the day started at 5 o'clock for you, for the food servers. Could you kind of take us through a typical day?
Well, the typical day is, especially since I was working on, they call it line servers. So all you're doing is just hand food to people. And my day starts at 4 o'clock. This is like a dome. It's not like a huge new area, because the place is huge, but it's different groups. Non-criminals like me, or who have 0 criminal record, or kids, people think that there's no kids there. There are kids who are barely 18, who have no idea what Mexico is. They came here when they were 1 year old. They speak perfect English. Some of them actually don't speak Spanish. And so you have those kind of people in that area. And people who are fighting their case. Like, who's going to be there for a while, like me, 5 months, more than that. So you have like the place holds 300 people, give and take, and 35 to 40 of them are people like me who can either get deported or who are fighting their case, or kids who are just waiting their day, court dates. But you have 260 people who are actually moving in and out every Saturday.
So, your day started early, and then you said you would cook the food, and then what happens after breakfast? I mean, what do you do all day?
Well, after breakfast, the first week I learned lesson that going out is actually pain in the butt, sorry.
To go out to recreation?
Go to the recreation area. Is you have 45 minutes. 45 minutes you spend in 15 minutes going out, and 15 minutes coming in for checkup. You getting checked, 15 minutes coming in, you get checked again. So you have like 15 minutes outside. That's not a lot of money to go see the sun, you know what I mean? So after a while I say, no, forget it, it's not even worth it. I'd rather take a shower 10 times in 30 minutes.
So, and then you had, how often were there lockdowns?
Lockdowns in that area, it rarely happens. But the problem is you have marshals next door to you, and they actually fight pretty much every hour. So when they lock them down, you're actually getting locked down too.
So when the marshals are there to fly somebody out on a flight?
No, the marshals are next door to the facility that I'm in. They are federal criminals. They're not immigrants, regular immigrants. Those people actually commit crimes, and they come from California or Florida states, overflowing immigration system, prison system. So they end up in those facilities. And they actually fight with the guards or each other. So what you have is when they get locked down, you get locked down too. So it doesn't matter, you don't have a problem there, but if they make problems, you're gonna have problems too. You're gonna get locked down to 24, sometimes they lock them 24 hours. You get locked down almost 12 to 13 hours a day. So you can't leave your room, and so.
Commissioner Sherrill was saying how detention should be it should be a civil detention because it's an administrative procedure. Did it feel like a prison to you?
Well, I want to say about panels who were sitting here before me, and especially to Honorable Judge, that was advocating that those private companies are actually bringing money in the computers and our communities. Well, there's a big problem with that. The federal government is supposed to bring jobs to the communities, not private companies. And you cannot play dance with the devil itself. That's how they are to me. Because the first day you go there, the first thing they tell you is, we don't care why you're here. We don't know you, we don't want to know you, we don't know why you were here, what you are, or where the hell you came from. Our staff make $32 an hour, and that's our main goal. Why are you here though? Oh, I don't give a damn, you know. You could have been Jeffrey Dahmer. We don't care why you're here. So it's that kind of attitude that scares me. It's a business as usual. It's a private company. I don't know why people don't understand this. Private company, their main goal is to make profit. spirit. So don't be painting it as this Holy Spirit. No, it's not. You know what I mean? So don't do that.
So when you were in detention, did you feel like you were a criminal?
It is, as you know, I've never been in police station in my life, let alone a jail. And there's one thing that actually, there's one part that's really scares not only me, that anybody who's in there, who are not criminal, who never commit crime in their life, or here or abroad. And that is, those private companies, they don't want nothing happening to you physically. So what they do is they escorting you from their facility to the federal detention immigration area. That's like 15-minute ride. And you get in shackled from head to toe, real tight. And you feel like you kill a lot of people, and you never done nothing. And all you want to do at that moment is, I can speak for myself, all I want to do at that moment was just put a bullet in me. That's how it feels like. I can put it that way. You know. All I want is just somebody to put a bullet in me and get over with it.
What would you say was the general feel or the general mood of the place when it came to how people were reacting to being detained? What did you see?
Well, it's, people generally is over there is, everybody's scared. Everybody's immigrant. Nobody knows where they're going tomorrow, or they get called tomorrow. And the fear is not knowing. And when the war broke down in Somalia, and I was only 15 years old, me and another 300 kids like me, we were getting handed down for 18 days to the border to Ethiopia. So that did not really scare me. Maybe I was young. But the experience in there, although I'm a lot older than 15 years that time, this experience scared the hell out of me a lot than AK-47 that was flying in my ear.
You mentioned that you sometimes saw young teenagers in there. What did you see happening with them?
Well, those teenagers, especially there were like 5 to 6 of them, and they're barely 18. And the only crime that they commit in Phoenix downtown was joyriding while smoking weed. I'm thinking, I think Bill Clinton did that. You know? You know? So if there was if joyriding and smoking weed was crime, that's a lot of people would be locked up in detention centers. So and you can see the fears on their eyes. You know, I have a 10-year-old son who is actually a U.S. citizen. And I became very friendly to them because of my son. I wouldn't want my son to be in that miserable place. And so whenever I could help, you know, and I would help them. Because when people are new to that facility, you have no access to telephone. For a lot of things, you have no access to lawyers, unless your family actually knows you are in there. And it takes families to know that you are in that facility. It takes them up to months to find out that you are actually in that facility, even if you are 18. So it's for people to paint it, that is, this is heavenly things happening. No, it's not. So you play with people's life and you think this is normal. Well, I have news for you, it's not normal. This is America, and people come to America for better life or for protection. I didn't leave my whole family back there so I can have fun in jail. You know, I did everything in my power to become law-abiding person in the United States. So
You were in detention for 5 months. The average stay is about 32 days. When did you start not to feel like the newcomer and started to feel like someone had been the old?
it takes me up to 2 weeks to sink in that you're going to be here for a while. So my first 2 weeks was hard for me because you don't know exactly what you're doing here or what's going to happen to you next. And you pretty much either block all that, or there's people who sleep 23 hours a day, not because they want to. They're depressed. And the only time you see them is actually when you're handing the food to them. That's the only time that you see them. The rest of the 23 hours, they are asleep. And
Yeah. I wanted to also talk to you about, you had mentioned this before. Did you experience racism in detention, and could you tell us about that?
Racism is something, especially me coming from Somalia. We don't have racism in Somalia. We don't experience racism in Somalia. But Somalis are, even the one who's taking care of the camel knows exactly what goes on in the world too, you know. So we kind of like there's racism in the world, and not only in the U.S., but anywhere else you go in the world. And racism is not about black and white. Racism comes in from different angles. But I've been in the U.S. before I had this experience. I lived in the U.S. for a long time, and of course, especially at workplace, you will see racism here and there, but not as wide and openly as the 5 months that I was experiencing. I mean, federal government agents who wearing U.S. badge and who have who've been trained in that area or how to treat people right should not be openly. You have your own personal feelings. Well, you can keep that to yourself. You are wearing a badge, you know, and so people talk racially, openly. And I thought I was just living in Arizona, you know what I mean? But it was not. So it's a scary thing to think that a federal agent who is upholding the federal laws can be talking to people racially open.
Well, why don't you tell us about the trip back, your last day and the trip back to Phoenix? I think that's a...
First, before I'll go to that, 90 days after I was in detention, somebody shows up. The same person who took me to, who's the ICE agents who took me to that who handed me to the private company, came to the facility after 3 months, and he said, "Well, Omar, I have a good news for you." He goes, "Well, we're going to release you." To where? I mean, I lost pretty much everything that I worked for 15 years, and you're still holding my money. Do you have my money so I can go? And he goes, "No." "Well, where are you going to release me? At least here, I can eat, and I know a safe place that have bed that I can sleep in. So where are you going to release me to?" He goes, "Well, we don't care. You want to go or what?" I told him, "No, I'm not going." So we had a big argument in that little room, and there was no fist fighting. It was just verbal talk, and he left. He goes, "Well, I guess you're liking it over here." So he left. 2 months later, he comes back, and now I'm in that detention for 5 months. And he goes, "Are you ready to go? What are you going to tell him?" It's 7 o'clock in the morning. So I said, "Sure. But first, I want to know exactly," because they don't tell you exactly where you're going. Now, he didn't come. The CEO of the private company came to me and he said, "Oh, well, they're calling you, and you live in this facility today. And I have to know exactly where I'm going." I asked them, "Hey, where I'm going?" And they told me they don't know. So I told them, "I'm not going until I know where I'm going." You know what I mean? So they called ICE. It took them 2 hours because I wasn't going. And finally they told me that, "No, you're getting released." So they shackled me again, put me in the van, and they took me to the immigration center so I can get released. And this is about 8 o'clock in the morning. I signed the paper, the release paper. I'm free to go anywhere I want to. Since nobody was coming for me to pick me up, I had to wait the ICE term when they're going to take me to Phoenix. So they put me, well, they can't just let you loose. So they put me in the cell. 4 o'clock in the morning, somebody shows up and goes, "Well, it's time for us to go. It's time for us to go." And we are like 7 people. And pretty much, I'm the one, black guy, and 2 Spanish descent, and 3 Orientals, and 2 other South Americans. So we all 7, and we are in the van. Some of them actually get released from federal jails. I mean, they had like offenses, but they couldn't deport them, or they pay their bond and they got released. So we are in this little small van riding, going back to Phoenix. I'm the only one who's going to be going to Phoenix, staying in Phoenix. Everybody else is going to California, somewhere else. So they stop at the gas station in the middle of the road. And there was a young lady pumping a gas. And she saw their, jackets saying ICE. And she goes, "What the hell are you guys doing this early in the morning?" And one of the men said to her, and they told her, "Oh, well, yeah, we're just going to go dump some garbage in Phoenix." So the lady, she said, "Oh, I hope it's not in my backyard." I'm thinking, am I living in La La Land, or this is the U.S. still? So they came back in the car, we drove, and for some reason, some of the other 7 people start talking to the ICE agency, but verbally, and that was it. Now the whole car is like a hunting area. It's like these people are calling each other names, and the ICE agency, they're 3 of them. Young, 23 years old, all white, and everybody else in the back of the van, all of them are minority. So they're shouting. I turn my face to the window. I don't want to hear nothing about this. I just want to dump me wherever you want to dump me. I just want to go home. And one of them goes, "Oh, I saw some chinos here and some wet bags, but I didn't know we have a Negro with the back over there." So this is federal government who's talking like that. Sorry, who's talking like that, and it's just scary. If you've never been in those places, it's very hard for you to say what goes on there. And it's not the way some people or local government or federal agent painting those companies. It's not. You are playing with human life.
Thank you, Omar. Omar is very eager to speak about his experience with you all, so would you take questions afterwards? Oh, okay, great. Is there a question?
I have a question.
Yeah, okay.
I'm wondering how you got there to begin with. Why were you taken in?
Well, I was taken in because 1996 when I came and I asked for asylum, a judge decided for some reason that I wasn't qualified for asylum. And that means automatic deportation. So you have appeals, and you have 3 appeals, and each appeal takes 5 years. So 2009, late 2009, my last appeal was denied. Nobody wins those. By the way, nobody wanna go against the judge. Say, oh, the judge was wrong that time, so but now we agree with you. So nobody wins those.
So meanwhile, you stay in the States for
Yeah.
getting education.
Yeah, I went to school, finished my school, worked for Dell for 12 hours, and went to school for 4 hours a night. So.
Yeah. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but please do talk to Omar during the break and afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you.